reference stuff that's...
Chair a little bit?
That's the one that doesn't really stay.
It's actually going to...
Yeah, we had this problem last week with David.
Oh, really? It like lowers? Is it?
I'm just going to make it worse, and I'm just going to creep upwards during the interview.
And I'll start massaging.
We had
This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Today we are featuring local musicians and businesses with national and international reach. In the second half of the show, I'll be joined by Lorelei VerLee from Creative Women of the World and Hope Sheehan from A Green Frog, talking about their cultural gift shop and their life-changing experiences for women artisans from third world countries. But first, Fernando Tarango and Jason Markson of the Wickersham Brothers are here to talk about their latest projects and adventures. Thank you for joining me on Arts Weekly. It's nice to have you as my guests.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Fernando, I'm going to start chatting with you because I don't go to a social, cultural event that you aren't playing on a balcony, you're behind a wall playing, or you're doing pantomime.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun gig.
That was a fun gig,
yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. I want to know where are your roots in music? Because you seem to be interested in all kinds of music.
Most definitely. I mean, my mom was a music teacher growing up, so I was exposed to lots of different music, you know, from Western music to, you know, world music. And I went to the American Boy Choir School, where we were exposed also to, you know, extremely, you know, formal music, classical medieval music, but then also commercial music. You know, we'd run in and out to New York City doing just, you know, commercial pop tunes.
Where is that school?
American Boy Choir School. It's in Princeton, New Jersey.
And how long did you go there?
4 years.
Wow. That's
Yes.
terrific. And your mother was a music teacher where? In
Texas.
In Texas. You're from Texas originally then.
Mm-hmm.
And what brought you to Fort Wayne?
My dad was a truck driver, and he came in and out of Fort Wayne a lot through GE. And when the opportunity came for me to go to the American Boy Choir School, they thought it'd be a good chance to get out of, you know, it was a real small town in Texas, and get closer to me where I'd be going to school for 4 years, and also just find new opportunity for my family.
And that 4-year school was?
That was the American Boy Choir School.
Oh, okay. But you've gone to IPFW. You were an IPFW student for a while.
Yes, I'm going for my master's in audio production and music composition.
Out of our music technology program with Sweetwater Sound.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about why you're both here, which is the Wickersham Brothers Band. What are the origins of the Wickersham Brothers Band? Who started it? Did you start it, Fernando?
Well, yeah, I think I sort of hold the bassist Cale Reese responsible for starting it, because he, you know, he called me up and, you know, he sort of found out. He's like, "What can I do to help you out?" And, you know, sort of like, well, I got these songs that, you know, I'd love to have more players behind, and, you know, he's helped me arrange the music, and we decided that, you know, we needed more players to let the music speak.
And when would you say you started the band? Officially, it's how old?
I think officially our first gig as a 5-piece was in March of this year.
Oh, so it's really very new.
I think so.
And have you played with musicians before that are in the band, or
in various capacities? Actually, with each musician I'd worked with in various capacities. You know, Jason and I had met through the Philharmonic through a mutual friend, so we worked together there. The bassist, we worked as a duo. The Logan saxophone player I met at IPFW.
How many are in the band?
There are 5 or 6, depending upon the given day.
And can I ask about the title? Where did the title come from?
The title came when we were playing for Julia Meek's Meet the Music.
One of my favorite shows.
Oh,
and
yes.
Julia Meek has to be one of my favorite all-time people as well.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's like a walking musical encyclopedia, that woman, right? And she seems to live on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
And she knows every musician in Fort Wayne,
and
of
has
which
like
there are many.
the perfect saying for anything.
For
It was like,
everything.
oh, where'd she come up with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we were there, and we knew we had the gig, and we're, you know, oh, we've got to come up with a name, and you know, I was just prepared to be unnamed trio,
Right.
but Cale Reese, he's like, you know what, I've had this name, you know, in different projects. He's like, maybe Wickersham Brothers from Dr. Seuss.
Ah, right.
Horton Hears a Who. So I was like, hey, sure, works for me.
And sometimes you invite outside players, I'm told, who are not just the core 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely the plan, to also help feature other musicians that that can help, you know, take our sound in a different direction, and keep things alive.
Well, Fort Wayne is a huge music town. I've been here 7 years, and I'm amazed at the classical music, huge jazz town, rock and roll's alive and well in Fort Wayne. So the diversity of musicians to pick from is pretty vast.
Oh, for sure.
And you know all of them.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. Jason, what's your involvement with Wickersham, and how long have you been with them?
Well, I guess I've been with the band probably since March, since the first show that Fernando was talking about. Fernando and I've played together in different capacities before then, and you know,
He said you met at the Philharmonic. You're with the Philharmonic?
I am. I'm a principal percussionist with the Philharmonic, and so Fernando sings with the orchestra, and we met through there.
Fernando sings with everybody.
He does.
He just, you know,
he's
if
everywhere.
somebody asks Fernando to sing, he's ready to go.
I'm not
You know,
the most committed.
That's kind of why I was so excited when he asked me to join the band, because Fernando is so versatile, and the styles of the different styles of music that the band plays.
So do you play percussion for the band, or do you?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
do.
We have a drummer, and Brad Crossland plays drums, and I play percussion and congas. It's called auxiliary percussion.
Slide whistle.
And
Does that
slide
count as
whistle.
percussion?
Yes. It has to be.
I wouldn't think there's very many bands with 5 people in them that have both a drummer and a percussionist, because usually there's not that combination in a band. Am I right?
I haven't thought of that, but yeah.
You know, it's not common, but yeah, I guess it adds a nice texture to the music.
I would think so. I would think the percussionist has to every so often say, "It's my turn. I get to add something to this."
Oh yeah, we got to leave room sometimes for, you know, for some extra conga solos and percussion. It adds a lot more, I think, of the danceability, because there's an extra rhythm for you to sort of.
And it's original music. The Wickersham Brothers play original music. Do they do covers, or is it?
Mostly, we try to throw in some covers just to have fun, you know, with something, and put a different spin on something that people know. And actually, that's our project this coming year, to add more covers to our rep and start playing out a lot more.
You have a CD, I'm told. First of all, you had a release party.
Yes.
Which are usually great fun. Where was yours?
We had it at Wunderkammer.
Oh, downtown on Fairfield, the new Schwartz project.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old Casas.
The old Casas. Yes.
And that was a lot of fun. We had Dance Contemporary was dancing for us. Ken Yealy, classical guitarist. We had a live artist there. Jessica Crew. So I had sort of turned it into a variety show.
The space lends itself to that kind of event, I think.
Great space.
Yeah, there's an exhibition from our VCD department down there right now. So my first experience at Wunderkammer was last week, and I was sort of surprised by the amount of space he has and the way he wants to use it in a variety of manners. Performance art here, have a gallery going on there, have a play. He does plays there as well.
Yeah, it really lends itself to being able to be transformed. So, you know, if you have a vision, the space is really flexible in that way.
Was it your first release party?
Yeah, it's the first, certainly for Wickersham Brothers.
And that CD was recorded here?
Yep, it was recorded here at Digitrack Studio, which is a really excellent studio. And recorded here, mixed here, mastered here, and even printed in New Haven.
And how many songs on that CD?
It's a 5-track EP, sort of extended play. So 5 songs, and it's called Indiana.
Oh, tell me
Yes.
about the title.
Well,
why Indiana? I mean,
there's
I
this-
like the title.
Oh, I mean, it's a great title. There's this cool state in the
Yeah,
United
there is
States.
a cool state,
Yeah,
yes.
and it's called Indiana.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that there's cool stuff that happens here.
Oh, there's great stuff that happens
and
here.
you know, the first song that we have, it's called Indiana, and it's just about sort of my experience. I'd go out and people say, "Hey, where are you from?" I used to live out in California, and I'd say Indiana, and sometimes people would be, you know, they'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
I'd be like, "You don't even know anything about Indiana."
right.
So in coming back home, I've just been so proud of the excellent musicians I've met and the excellent friends I've had, and a lot of progressive thinkers, especially here in Fort Wayne. So
And progressive musicians.
progressive musicians, and I'm stoked to be here.
And would you say you wrote all 5 songs, or were they collaborative efforts with the Wickersham Brothers?
At least this recording, I wrote all the material and brought it in and arranged it with the bassist, and then we added more players and different elements to the arrangements, so sort of group arrangements. But as we're developing, we're doing a lot more writing together.
And did you mix it yourselves? I mean, did you have a producer who did the mixing? Are you involved in all stages of it, or did you just sort of go into the recording studio and turn it over to somebody for producing and mixing?
Cale and I were the main producers, and you know, just responsible for the whole end and making sure the mix is, you know, we had Zach Davidson, who's an excellent engineer and producer, but you know, he's mixing it, but we're also making sure that it's the kind of mix that we want, because your taste can be infinite in what you want.
Right.
So making sure that's kind of mix, and then Matt Riefler, he was, I think both are students from the University of St. Francis program. He an excellent master on it.
How does someone get a hold of the CD? Is there a way to?
Yes, you can
Yes.
go to the website, fernandotarango.com, and there are, you know, there's a player, you can see the song right as soon as you hit the home page, and listen to it there.
Great. And you have upcoming performances?
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Next year we will be we'll be playing at Deer Park. We'll be playing at Club Soda, lining up some gigs at Acme, and so we'll be playing out.
There
pretty
is
regularly.
a plethora of places to pick from in Fort Wayne to go hear live music, and I look forward to hearing Wickersham Brothers next year. And keep me posted.
Will do.
Thank you both for being on Arts Weekly, and good luck with your band and the new CD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next are 2 enterprising women who have brought third world artisans to our attention in Fort Wayne. We'll meet them in just a minute, so please take this time to view our performance calendar of what's coming up in our area. We'll be right back with Lorelei, VerLee, and Hope Sheehan. Creative Women of the World is the place to find original designs created by women who live in third world countries and by women in first world countries who support and believe in the power of creativity as a solution for poverty. A Green Frog is your local shop for eco-friendly and sustainable chic gifts, including exclusive lines of pottery and organic fragrances by local artisans. Joining me today to talk about these creative endeavors are Lorelei, VerLee, and Hope Sheehan. Thank you, ladies, for joining me on Arts Weekly, and welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's great to meet you both. I've heard so much about both of you, and this is our first time to actually sit down and visit.
Right. It's wonderful to meet you as well.
Congratulations on the success of Creative Women.
It's been wonderful. The community has really done beautifully in supporting it.
Tell me a little bit about the history. When did you get started, and where are you located and that sort of thing?
We're located right downtown, next door to J.K. O'Donnell's, so the place to be downtown. And we actually moved in there a little over a year ago, and prior to that we were in an office and warehouse near Northrop High School. And ever since we got to move downtown, it's been phenomenal. So we're just 2 years old.
Well, you've really turned into a retail organization.
Yes.
I would imagine out by the warehouse in Northrop, you're not really a retail, but
well,
now you're...
Yeah, we were just trying to get our structure set up, get our organization designed, know very clearly where we wanted to go. And so that year was very helpful to us, and we were ready to kick.
It's a pretty creative mission.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about the mission, because I think it's really significant. And I think it's really significant that it's coming from Fort Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you. And it truly is a collaboration of passion. This has come out of all of us having such a passion for helping people who are in extreme poverty, unlike anything that we know in our own country, really. And also the women who have become victims of human trafficking, and honestly, that happens in our own country as well.
Sure does, absolutely.
And then situations where people have suffered from disaster. And so as we are able to work with them to help them create a business, we then give them access to markets that are broader than what they're able to access.
So if I understand the mechanism, it is that you get art made in a foreign country and you bring it to sell here on behalf of those individuals.
Yeah, our main purpose is to actually train them in business so that they can have a sustainable business that is also profitable and ethical. And so all of that is very, very crucial. But then many of them don't have a market locally that will really give them that sustainable business. So then we can connect them to broader markets, as I said, here in the States.
I like that idea of that you're going to train them to do something larger than just create the art. You want them to be self-sustainable. You just don't want to go over there, get off a plane, buy some goods and come back.
Exactly.
That's not what you do.
That's not what we're about.
Well, that's important to clarify, because I have to say I thought that sort of was what it was, but that's not it.
No.
You have a larger mission.
Exactly. We are primarily a nonprofit dedicated to training them in business. But then we use our boutique as part of the training, because then we allow them to test market their products. We're going to see how does the audience, the market, react to their things. If they do well, then we can keep building their business further and further.
And you're located downtown, but now we have a new company, A Green Frog.
We do.
And Hope, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Tell us what A Green Frog, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
What does it stand for? Did you, what does the Green Frog mean?
Well, you know, it's interesting that a frog actually is a very transformative, cross-culturally significant emblem. And so we thought it was appropriate because what we truly believe in is a transformation. Frogs transform throughout their life cycle. They're a great indicator species from a scientific perspective. And so we really thought that was a very solid emblem to kind of represent what we were doing. We're also a division of a greater company called Anoki International, which is our parent company for the jute bag business, which I can kind of show you.
I'm very familiar with that. We have a mutual friend who's a part of Anoki. I think he and his family created Anoki.
Yes.
And they have these wonderful jute bags.
Yes. So this is a meeting of the minds. But what was interesting is that this particular effort was not just about bags. It's really about setting an example for what business can be. It can be a transformative experience for the people on either side of the ocean. It can be a transformative experience from within the organization itself. And so we, because of the work that we've done with Creative Women and the alignment we had with Inoki, it made a great synergy to come up with an ethically sourced, eco-friendly company to start distributing bags. And then as that kind of grew, it kind of evolved into other things. Like that's something that Lorelei and I are very comfortable with, is that we're not afraid to change and we're not afraid to navigate what's coming. And we also think that's kind of a unique approach to business too. So it's not just a hard and fast forecasting, it's what's really going on, how are you sensing what's going on, how are people reacting, what's the organization doing, is it, you know, people fit the organization, or do you fit the organization to people? And so we challenge those things with how we're operating as a unit. So.
Well, Inoki, when it was set up as an eco-friendly, reusable bag. It's made out of reusable. It's reusable.
It's jute.
Jute.
Yes.
Right. It's
Biodegradable.
made in India. Biodegradable. That's what I was looking for. In India.
Yes.
And the designs, we showed several photos already of the design. The designs are absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. They're well made. We have an interesting access point because it's just us and the manufacturers. There isn't any middlemen.
Right.
So when you talk about accessibility and giving opportunity, that's really what you need to do.
And a Green Frog, though, is a for-profit corporation.
Yes, it is for-profit.
Working in tandem with Creative Women of the World, which is a not-profit
Yes.
organization. And more those kinds of partnerships across America are happening to complement both, because sometimes the not-for-profit side of it needs a little bit of a umbrella to make sure that the mission gets achieved.
Yeah.
And so that's a nice marriage of those two organizations.
It's true. We do take 100% of the profit that comes from the boutiques to fund our purpose, our development. But by having a for-profit business that has written into its DNA that it is going to be for the benefit of something, that is powerful.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, you travel a lot. Both of you have traveled for Creative Women in the World and a Green Frog. You've recently been to Thailand.
Yes.
As part of the mission,
yes.
you go and locate new artisans.
Right. And I was actually originally invited to speak at an Asian conference, and while I was there, it was in Chiang Mai, and I knew that one of the organizations that we work with is called Destiny Rescue, and they are located in Chiang Mai, so I made contact and wanted to see what was going on with them directly, and it was beautiful. This is an organization that is rescuing young girls from forced prostitution, and they're in that because of extreme poverty.
Sure, absolutely.
And most of them are between the ages of 12 to 17. But one of the things that they make are t-shirts. So we actually designed some t-shirts that were really, really cool. Cool, and it had a quote on it that really kind of shows the heartbeat of what we feel like we want to do at Creative Women of the World.
Let's show that, and would you mind reading that quote, because we can't read it on the screen, because I think it's a terrific quote as well.
Yes, this was designed by Nicole Moore, who is the Director of Retail Operations for Creative Women of the World. She's a wonderful artist, but this quote is, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." It takes people to actually carry out this greater purpose.
And that quote was from
Margaret Mead.
Yeah, it's a beautiful quote.
I love it.
And it's certainly what you ladies are doing.
Well, that's what we were trying.
And you've recently been to Mexico.
Yes, I was in Mexico. I had the privilege of working with a woman who started an arts and music program for kids on a rancho outside of San Miguel de Allende, up in the mountains there. So it was a beautiful experience to work alongside them. These are children that have 2 teachers for over 200 students. They don't have access to clean water or electricity. But Else Marie Norby believes that by engaging the mind creatively at a very early age, that really it's about coming up with a way to teach them how to create their solution at a very young age. They don't have access. They don't have
Right.
things.
Exactly.
So I was very excited about partnering with her. And then the other group that I was able to talk to was a group called Mariposa, which these women have been hidden up in the mountains and have a bag business that they work with. There's probably 18 to 25 women that sew pieces of different sizes, shapes, bags, because they've been victimized or marginalized by the drug trade, which is a huge problem. And typically there's a lot of violence related to that. So they have to kind of be quiet about what they're doing.
Before we run out of time, I want to briefly talk about the local effort that you have. You have a new organization.
Yes.
Let's talk real quickly about that before
We
we run
are
out of time.
so excited. We have always worked with American artists in helping them develop their businesses, but it's not always as obvious in our store. So we are actually opening up the second floor with a new division of Creative Women of the World called Lotus. And Lotus stands for Local Opportunities for Training in the U.S. So we are also going to be training women here who want to learn how to have an ethical, sustainable, profitable business, and then we will help them go through the market channels as well.
So you're bringing the mission home.
Excellent.
Full
Yes.
circle.
Yeah.
Full circle,
Yes,
exactly. The
absolutely.
vision
Yeah.
was out there, now you're bringing it back.
Yes.
And do you have people in mind that you want to sign up and sort of have a vision already as to
Yeah,
who the sort of
yeah.
first class will be, if you will?
We've identified, we've got a potter. We've actually already launched a fragrance line, working and mentoring. We've got an organic lip balm line that's coming out. It's really exciting. And those are, it's just an outgrowth of being in a creative spirit.
Yeah.
And we don't put limitations on anything.
Right.
You know, once you realize you don't have enough money and you don't have enough time, you just figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I want to remind everybody that
right.
it's the holiday season.
That's
Yes,
right.
And
absolutely.
what a great place to shop.
Yes.
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 Right next
yes,
to
right. J.K. O'Donnell's.
J.K. O'Donnell's. Go in, have a brew, and come over and spend some
There
money.
you go.
It's a wonderful afternoon.
What are your hours of operation?
11 till 7 until Christmas, and then except Christmas Eve, and then normally we are noon to 7 and closed on Sunday.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining me, and
you very
congratulations
much.
on what seems to be a hugely successful endeavor.
We're thrilled.
And I'm very proud that you're in Fort Wayne.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we are
Thank
too.
I
you.
can
Thank
see
you.
the international outreach, and I look forward to coming down and visiting your store.
Thank you, John.
I'm John O'Connell with the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Next time on Arts Weekly, we'll visit with Kelly Updike and Destin Riley to hear all about the Embassy Theater series Down the Line Hardcore. Then Jonah Chrismore will be here to give us a rundown of upcoming events at the Cinema Center. For up-to-the-minute arts updates, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And be sure to join us here live Thursday evenings at 7:30 on PBS 39. Thank you for watching Arts Weekly.